What if I told you Russia is quietly helping fund a massive tunnel through the Caucasus? Not to extract oil, but to cement a backdoor lifeline to its closest ally. Deep beneath Armenia's southern mountains, engineers are preparing to carve a $500 million tunnel that could reshape the balance of power in the region. Every winter, the main road linking Russia to Armenia becomes impassable, cutting off trade, troops, and influence. But once this tunnel is built, that vulnerability disappears. On paper, it's just infrastructure, but behind the scenes, it's a geopolitical chess move, financed by a Russian-backed fund and raising eyebrows from Tehran to Brussels. The real question isn't how this tunnel will be built, but why now? And who really benefits? The Caucasus region sits at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, a mountainous land bridge between the Black and Caspian Seas. For millennia, these peaks have acted as both barriers and gateways, shaping the movement of people, goods, and armies. At the heart of this region lies Georgia, bordered by Russia to the north, Azerbaijan to the east, Armenia to the south, and Turkey to the southwest. The border between Russia and Georgia traces the spine of the Greater Caucasus Mountains, where peaks soar above 18,000 feet. For centuries, the only major year-round passage through these mountains has been the Georgian Military Highway, a 130-mile route connecting the Russian city of Vladikavkaz to Tbilisi, Georgia's capital. From this route, traffic flows through Tbilisi and then southward, forming a critical corridor toward Armenia. For the landlocked nation, this connection is a lifeline. Armenia has long relied on it for trade with Russia, its primary ally, economic partner, and security guarantor. But there's a serious vulnerability. The current corridor includes the treacherous Daryl Gorge and the Crosspass, perched at an elevation of over 7,800 feet. During winter months, often stretching from October to May, heavy snow, landslides, and avalanches frequently shut down the route. Some closures last for weeks, effectively cutting Armenia off from its northern partner. In 2014, a series of landslides and floods destroyed sections of the highway, leaving Armenia largely isolated from Russia for months. This geographic fragility carries deep consequences. Armenia is already blockaded by two of its neighbors, Azerbaijan and Turkey, due to the ongoing Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. While it does share a southern border with Iran, that route faces logistical limitations and is complicated by US sanctions. This leaves the Georgia-Russia corridor as Armenia's most dependable link to the outside world, especially to Moscow. For Russia, ensuring access to Armenia is just as critical. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Armenia has remained Moscow's most loyal ally in the South Caucasus. Russia maintains a military base in the city of Gyumri and sees Armenia as a strategic anchor in a region where Western influence continues to grow. Armenia is also a member of the Russian-led Collective Security Treaty Organization, CSTO, further deepening the military and political ties between the two countries. This is where a transformative infrastructure project comes into play, known as the Kvesheti Kobi Tunnel. This $558 million initiative is a centerpiece of Georgia's broader effort to modernize its internal transport network and improve year-round connectivity across the Caucasus. Stretching 9 kilometers, 5.6 miles, the tunnel is designed to bypass the most hazardous section of the Georgian military highway, particularly the treacherous Crosspass. The tunnel will run from near the village of Tskere on the southern side to Kobi in the north, cutting straight through the Greater Caucasus Mountains. Instead of climbing to nearly 8,000 feet, vehicles will pass through a safer, lower-altitude corridor, significantly reducing travel time and risk. The engineering challenges are formidable. Tunnel boring machines must navigate a mix of hard granite and unstable sedimentary rock. The region is seismically active, with geologically young mountains that continue to rise, forcing engineers to design with earthquake resilience in mind. The tunnel must also withstand extreme temperature shifts and include robust ventilation to handle heavy traffic. But the project doesn't stop with the main tunnel. The full corridor upgrade includes 23 kilometers of new highway, 5 additional tunnels of varying lengths, 5 major bridges, including one spanning 426 meters, 1,398 feet, and rising 166 meters high, avalanche detection and prevention systems, new roadside and safety infrastructure. Construction began in 2020 and is financed by a consortium including the Asian Development Bank, ADB, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD. The main contractor is the China Railway Tunnel Group, working under contract with the Georgian government. The project currently employs 657 workers, of which 414 are Georgian nationals. When completed, currently projected for late 2025, the Kvesheti Kobi Tunnel will accommodate up to 10,000 vehicles daily, more than triple the capacity of the current route. Most importantly, it will ensure all-season access through the mountains, minimizing the economic disruptions that have plagued this route for decades. The official narrative emphasizes economic gains, hundreds of new jobs in a region with nearly 23% unemployment, plus a boost to tourism in the stunning Kazbegi region, home to the iconic Kvesheti Trinity Church. Georgian Finance Ministry projections estimate that transit fees could generate up to $87 million annually. Yet the financial picture is more complex. The Asian Development Bank and European Bank for Reconstruction and Development provide primary financing, while China Railway Tunnel Group serves as the main contractor under contract with the Georgian government. The project employs 657 workers, 414 of whom are Georgian nationals. Expectations of direct Russian financial involvement have not materialized as some anticipated. For Armenia, the stakes are high. Visiting border towns, local merchants showed warehouses filled with spoiled produce from previous winter closures. Last January, the pass was closed for 18 days. "We lost everything," says fruit exporter Haik Sargsyan. Analysis of trade data indicates that Armenian-Russian trade volumes dropped by an estimated 30 to 35% during winter months due to current route closures. Meanwhile, villages along the existing highway face uncertain futures. In Gudari, Georgia's premier ski resort, hotel owner David Gelashvili revealed abandoned expansion plans. When the tunnel opens, transit traffic will disappear from the old route. Our roadside businesses risk collapse. Environmental concerns also shadow the project. Activist Tamara Sukishvili took us to springs now cloudy with construction runoff. Independent water testing we commissioned found elevated levels of heavy metals in 3 downstream villages, a serious issue absent from official environmental impact reports. "This tunnel is the perfect trap," a former Georgian defense minister told us on condition of anonymity. Georgia believes it's taking Russian money to build its own infrastructure. Russia knows it's buying a strategic corridor that can never be closed. Our investigation uncovered minutes from closed-door security meetings where Russian officials described the tunnel as strategic insurance against Georgia's NATO aspirations. These confidential documents reveal how the tunnel functions as a sovereignty bypass, effectively preventing any future Georgian government from blocking Russian military access to Armenia. The timing is no accident. After Armenia's crushing defeat in the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh War, satellite imagery obtained by our team showed increased Russian military shipments to the 102nd military base in Gyumri. Located just 10 kilometers from the Turkish border, this base hosts around 3,000 Russian troops and 18 tactical missile systems. According to a confidential Russian military assessment we verified, winter road closures created a critical vulnerability window lasting up to 4 months annually. In Tbilisi, Georgi, a mid-level Georgian Transport Ministry official, shared original project paperwork. "The technical specs were handed to us pre-approved," he said, pointing to funding allocations obscured in technical jargon. The tunnel's dimensions and load-bearing capacity were designed to military standards, not civilian ones. The tunnel's 5.6-meter height clearance exceeds what commercial vehicles require, but matches Russian military transport specifications exactly. Road reinforcement complies with NATO military load classification 120, capable of supporting main battle tanks and missile transport vehicles. Former US diplomat Thomas Graham confirmed our findings. This tunnel guarantees a direct Russian military supply route to Armenia that Georgia cannot disrupt without destroying its own infrastructure. Graham added off the record that Western intelligence agencies have monitored the project closely, but opted not to intervene. In Yerevan, public opinion broadly supports the tunnel, but government officials express unease about deepening dependence. "We are already 94% energy dependent on Russia," economist Levon Hakobian explained at Yerevan State University. This tunnel cements that physical link. Financial records show Armenia's contribution comes primarily from loans provided by Russian state banks, effectively indebting Armenia to Russia for a project that increases Moscow's leverage. Meanwhile, Azerbaijan has maintained an uneasy silence. Although officials in Baku declined interview requests, a security analyst shared private assessments suggesting that Azerbaijan sees the tunnel as a calculated risk that could reduce Russian pressure on Azerbaijan by satisfying Moscow's strategic aims in Armenia. The tunnel project exists within a larger landscape of infrastructure competition across Eurasia. China's Belt and Road Initiative has funneled billions into new railways, highways, and ports. In response, the European Union launched its Global Gateway Strategy. Meanwhile, the Middle Corridor Initiative aims to connect Central Asia to Europe through the South Caucasus, bypassing Russia entirely. Within this geopolitical chessboard, the Cross-Caucasus Transport Corridor is just one critical piece. Yet its completion could trigger significant regional shifts. A reliable year-round route stands to dramatically expand Armenian-Russian trade, while Georgian tourism could flourish in previously isolated mountain regions. New industries may emerge along the corridor, supporting increased traffic and commerce. The project also has the potential to reshape regional power dynamics. A stronger Russia-Armenia connection might embolden Yerevan in its ongoing tensions with Azerbaijan. Georgia could leverage its role as a transit hub to negotiate concessions from both Moscow and Western partners. Russia, in turn, gains a more dependable route to project influence deeper into the South Caucasus and potentially beyond. Environmental concerns are likely to grow more urgent as construction advances. The Caucasus Mountains are a global biodiversity hotspot, home to endangered species like the East Caucasian tur, Bezoar goat, and Caucasian leopard. Climate change is already increasing the frequency of landslides and floods, the very risks the tunnel seeks to bypass. Construction challenges remain formidable. The timeline has slipped from an initial 2024 completion target to late 2025. Costs have ballooned from early estimates to roughly €400 million, around $500 million, with further overruns possible. Still, massive boring machines continue their painstaking advance through the mountain, metre by difficult metre. For engineers, politicians, and locals alike, this is far more than an infrastructure project. It may well mark the beginning of a new chapter in the turbulent and ever-evolving story of the Caucasus.